the topic is, what are best run companies doing to ensure that they are prepared for future of work. So how are they, what tools, what innovation, what processes are they changing to become world's best and to attract world's best talent. So that's the overall topic. But before that, I want to thank SHRM. They have put us up in the stage outside, and I said it's better, please put us inside because we don't want to yell our lungs out trying to outdo each other outside. It's very noisy outside. So thank you so much, SHRM. I want to be nice to you because we are going to go off script. They told us very clearly, don't introduce the hosts, and it's better you jump right into the topic. So we're going to not do that. We're going to go out and ask Nathan, Suchitra, and Uma to tell us a bit about how their career shaped up, because I want them to, I want you to know them better so that they can understand their perspective better and ask the right questions. So, Suchitra, I said we're going to start with you. So, Davasti, women first, and Suchitra is going to take the mic.
Thank you. He's completely going off script because Nathan and my name is not Rajendran, it is Rajendran. My husband is a North Indian and very particular about being Punjabi and hates being converted to a Rajendran constantly. Though my parents appreciate it because they are from the south and they happily introduce him as Rajendran so that there are no problems in the larger family. So anyway, just to give a bit of my background, using this as a lens, the workplace, training workplace, technology, etc. I started many years ago in a company called C-Dot, right? And this was the time before Mr. Petroda currently was very famous for saying infamous things. Started this whole journey of making telecom a big bet of India, where we used to stand in queues to get a phone. He suddenly changed the game. And that's when I entered HR into the space. And it's so interesting that today, the best practices that you see in Google, Facebook, etc. were already best practices there. So what did he do differently? He said, no software or hardware engineer wants to know when to take a break, when to start, when to stop. So there should be a sleeping area for all of them. So we had sleeping areas for our software engineers and our hardware engineers. He said they should not be troubled with mundane things of home stuff. So we had a concierge service in the office, 24/7 food availability in the office. All kinds of things which today are touted as best practices started many years ago with that framework in mind. And then I went to Australia, worked there, came back, worked in a consulting company, and then joined Pepsi, and for the past 12.5 years I've been there. So, how did I evolve with the changing world? Because at that time, there was, a laptop was unheard of, PC was what it was, and then it kept changing. And you have to keep reinventing yourself and keep learning and being constantly curious, constantly identifying what's at the edge, because mainstream is what is here today, but the edge is what is coming to you tomorrow, right? And you have to be prepared for tomorrow. So you always have to be ahead of the game to be prepared for tomorrow and constantly learning. And when I say constantly learning, it's been a mantra that you be curious about what are the youngsters doing, where are they getting their knowledge from, where are their hangout spaces, what's the buzz for the next generation. And that's when you know what is going to happen in the workplace, because the workplace belongs to our future. The past, we are the past, we are going now, and the future is coming in. And if you want to make the workplace relevant, you have to make it ready for the future. So for me, that has been the going way of whether it is, and HR is, we think of HR as the last bastion. Actually, it's the first bastion, because that's the first thing that people experience when they walk into the door is HR. Whether how you, from the time you interact with them, even for an interview, to the time they're in the office, to the time they exited, the whole experience of walking in is HR. And that's when, all of us know it, right? When we walk into an office, we immediately realize, is this a place for me or not for me? Someone was making fun of Pepsi that long time ago when she was recruiting, it was always whether the person is PepsiCo fit or not. And she said, does that hold even today? I said, yeah, it actually holds even today. And we do look at people saying PepsiCo fit or not based on how curious are they, how okay are they with change. Because companies like Pepsi are constantly changing. In fact, one of my team members, am I getting to now? Yeah. So one of my team members said, why do we change all the time? Even before you announce the org structure, you're already working on the new org structure. I said, isn't it fantastic to be in a place which is so flexible that you're constantly changing versus a place where you would never change and therefore your learning would be stagnant. Here you have an opportunity that tomorrow, today you are, let's say, looking only at total reports, but tomorrow that could be merged with completely a different function. Today you're only HR, but let's say tomorrow that HR is merged with marketing. Wouldn't that be a fantastic opportunity to learn versus it being so siloed that it will never change? And that youngster started thinking, she said, yeah, actually it's so amazing if you're thinking like that. I said, yeah. You should always be ready for change because that is the cusp of when you will learn the most, when you are in an environment that is changing and that's evolving completely to fit in for tomorrow. So that's pretty much what I am going to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Suchitra. So, before Uma introduces herself, we would kind of pick her brains to understand if a huge organization like Pepsi is changing, is changing fast. And what does it take to carry the entire team together? What kind of interventions will be required? So that's one area that we will focus on. Once we finish with it.
Just add my own family. 2 daughters. One, after I told her I've spent my 20 years of earning because if I joined organizations like CDOT, you can imagine my earning was very limited. So on educating her in Berkeley, and then she goes to China and now she's a VJ, she's a DJ, and she's a video editor in the largest 360-degree camera company in the world. So I told her that why did you do economics and public policy and use all the money I could have, but that's youngsters for you. And the second one has just gone to Australia to do a combination of fine arts and political science. So that's the world for you, that's the next generation.
We look forward to her fighting the next election.
Is this about my career, my journey?
Just your journey.
Okay, so this changing workplace, changing careers, roles resonates pretty well with me, and I think it's not new. In fact, going back to 20 years, somewhere 1996, when I finished my engineering, I had no clue that I would be part of the HR fraternity. When I started my career with an organization like an IIT, my goal was more to sell their software products and make sure that I go to every organization and sell SAP, Oracle, which was relatively new to the market. And each time I go to my clients, they would say, fine, all this is fine, but can you just help my people understand what MS Office is all about? How do we really use Excel? And can you first train my people here before you even sell any product? And even if you were to sell any products, the next question will be, can you spend the next 3 months training my folks on these ERP solutions that are brought in? And that started triggered my entire passion for learning. And I said, if this is where the real need is, why not give it a try? And that's where my journey around learning, development all began way back in 1997, if I were to be precise. And I don't think I've turned back. The real satisfaction is all about seeing the person or the individual on the other side doing better or being able to pick up a skill, and that gives a great sense of satisfaction when you look at the entire learning and development space or OD or whatever you want to call it. And I've not looked back, and since then I have moved from as an engineer to sales to now the HR industry, focusing purely on training and development. Of course, work with many industries, most of them are from the IT services sector, and that's what keeps me going.
Thank you so much. He promised to tell us a story, so.
How many of us want to listen to a story? Big shout?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's not much of a shout.
That proved nobody wants to work.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this is a story of a Kabuliwala. the story of a Kabuliwala. So there was a Kabuliwala, and he set out from Kabul. Before he left, he told his daughter, "Hey sunshine, I'm going to India. Is there anything that you want from India?" So first the daughter was clinging on to Papa and says, "Dad, don't go, but if you do have to go, bring me something nice from India." So the Kabuliwala came all the way to India, and he didn't know what to get for his child, because the child said, "Get me something beautiful." Now you never know what's beautiful in the eyes of a child. And a daughter at that. So he was sitting under a tree, and he noticed that there were a lot of parrots. So he took out a stone and he threw it in the midst. And one of the parrots fell down injured. He immediately picked up the parrot and he nursed it, and very carefully he wrapped it in a cloth, put it in his bag, and took it all the way to Kabul. And then, before he presented this to his daughter, he made sure that it was a golden cage, and he very gingerly put the parrot inside, by which time, the parrot had got healed in its leg. And he fed it the best of Kaju Kishmish, and he told his daughter, "Hey, sunshine, this is what I brought for you." The child was delighted. He says, "Papa, this is the best gift that you've ever given me." Days passed, and now it was time for the Kabuliwala to come back to India. And this time, he asked his daughter, "What do you want?" So he said, "Papa, give me something very nice." But before he went there, he found that the bird was cackling, so he went up to the bird and asked the bird, "Hey bird, I'm going all the way to India. Perchance, there is a good possibility that I might just come back to that same tree, and I might just meet your brethren. So, is there any message that you got to give to your brethren?" So the parrot says, "Malik, my lord, please tell them that as a parrot, I'm well fed, I'm in the best of golden cages, and everything about me is fantastic. I have no freedom. I'm very sad. I'm very unhappy. Very sad, very unhappy." This is all that I wanted to say. So there was a heaviness in his heart, but he knew he could not do much. Came all the way to India, finished his work, he went back again under the same tree, and this time, when he went under the tree, he told all the parrots, "Hey, come on, come all. I want to tell you something. This is a message from the parrot that happened a long time ago that I picked up from this place." So everybody, there was, a lot of silence around the place because they all wanted to listen to what he has to say. So he says, "The parrot said to all of you, I am very well fed, they really take care of me, but I'm very unhappy, I'm very sad, I'm very sad, I'm very unhappy." And as soon as he said that, one of the parrots fell down from the branches dead. So one of the parrots just fell down from the branches dead. Now, the Kabuliwala didn't know what to do, what to say. So he just collected his belongings, he bowed his head, and then he walked back. Came all the way to Kabul, he gave his daughter some sweets. That was not half as interesting because he really wanted to go on to the bird and convey to the bird, because she was shouting and screaming. He says, "What did my brothers and sisters tell me? Pray, let me know." And so he goes up to the bird and he says, "Hey, listen, as soon as I told everybody out there that you were unhappy, you were sad, you were really missing them, one of the birds fell down from the branches dead." And as soon as he uttered these words, the bird in the cage fell dead in the cage. She just fell off the perch and fell down. Now it was time for the Kabuliwala to feel really hurt. Now, so he collected all his friends. He got a golden coffin, and his daughter was inconsolable, and he was weeping unashamedly because he didn't realize that he grew so attached to the bird. And then he opens the cage to take out the bird and put it into the coffin. And as soon as he lifted the bird to put it in the coffin, the bird suddenly got up and flew far away and beyond his reach and just sat there and looked at his master and said, "Thank you, master, thank you." It was the turn of the Kabliwala to feel that there was something happening that he did not understand. So he told the bird, he said, "Tell me, bird, what did you learn?" He says, "Thank you because you brought me a great message." He says, "Okay, what was the message that you brought to me from India?" So the message was very simple. Sometimes in order to live, you have to die. Sometimes in order to live, you have to die. So that's the story.
Thank you.
So my life is pretty much like that. I wanted to be an engineer. I barely scraped through because I was in Maharashtra. If Miss Rajendran is happy to say that I barely scraped through, I barely scraped through. So I went into a college in Chennai, Madras in those days. I finally managed to, I will be one of the last students out there. I got, and how many of you like mathematics? Thank you very much. I didn't see too many hands out there. How many of you don't like mathematics? Okay, I see a lot more hands. Thank you very much. I didn't like mathematics either, but they gave me mathematics. I learned that if you don't get what you like what you get. And Miss Rajendran, I was a gold medalist in mathematics. And I didn't want to do engineering. And then I decided I didn't want to do mathematics. So I went on and went to SHRM. I was not even sure. Please, you got something in common there. And I wasn't sure whether I was going to tick box something which was into industrial relations and human resources, or get into business management. I just picked some box, and I still remember when it came out as industrial relations, I was a little amazed. I said, "Is this what I was signing up for?" I wasn't sure. So back to my story. Sometimes, in order to live, you have to die. You have to give up something which is on your mind, and you say, "I'm going to live all over again." My career started in ICI, Imperial Chemicals Industries in those days, something that I truly enjoyed, one of the finest organizations to work for, and moved through a few software companies. CDOT I was very fond of because we used to pitch very regularly. They really paid very high salaries. Thank you, Ms. Rajendra. And post that, I went to an IT company. I joined Reliance. I was there for a few years. And I've been at Deloitte for the last 15 years. Truly enjoy my job. I believe that one has to reinvent yourself many times over. And there is nothing that, the half-shelf life of learning at one point in time was 10 years. It's now come down to almost 2.5 years. So if you have to invent yourself and you have to be relevant to today's market, you better start to learn. So that's my pitch.
Thank you so much. Amazing personalities and amazing life lessons. I'm sorry, but I'll have to now get you back to the topic very soon because we're running short of time. Some data points. One, Mercer does a global talent trend study every year globally, and a couple of data points about I'll throw up and I'll get your reactions to it. some interesting numbers. 1 out of 5 jobs, so that's 20% of the jobs will not exist in the next 5 years. In most of the so it's a bit of generalization. Maybe some industries would be more severe, some won't be touched very quickly, but 20% of the job also, you don't know how many people will get impacted. In the same survey, the HR leadership, only 50% of them said that we are actively working on understanding what is future of jobs will be, what competencies are needed for the jobs to be. So that's one gap. Third part, when spoken about tech interventions in most of the companies, they said 94% of them said yes, we are adopting technology to improve various aspects of the way we deal with people, whether it's recruiting the right talent or making work life simpler for people. But when you spoke to the respondents, people who are getting impacted, they said only 23% of the respondents said that my company really understands what uniquely I stand for. So they might have competencies, but the organization doesn't know how to use those competencies. So my first question to the panel is, and I would request you to be a bit crisp about it so that we can move to the other aspects of the discussion as well. What have you seen in the market around understanding competencies needed for the job to be done well today? Also, our organizations understanding what the future trend is and how much effort have you seen them put in? And if you could give us India flavor as well in that, and whether Indian companies are putting in the effort to understand what future competencies are needed here, and how much effort have you seen going into this? Anything innovative that you've seen? Would love to hear your views on it. So.
While I mean, what's happening in the industry, one can always do a search and understand. I would rather focus on what Infosys is practically doing on this space here. Do we understand what do we need? Yes, I think we are there. I wouldn't say we are, everything, but we have made enough attempts to get there. So one of the things that has worked for us is the fact that there are 2 reasons why we would really look at competencies and skilling or reskilling for that matter. It has to drive business growth. Yeah, clearly understand why should we at all reskill people and on what do we want to reskill people. So understand where the business is coming from and make sure that you have those skills ready within the organization. 2, there is an employee value proposition, which is all about making sure that your employees stay relevant in the market. Yeah, that's another promise that we make. We look at these 2 aspects and we really turn around our skill categorization or skill bucketization in terms of broadly 3 areas. The skills that are needed as of today. Increasingly, we may talk about automation, analytics, all of that. That's really eating into our space today, and how the jobs are really getting impacted. So that's the immediate skills that we look at. We also look at where is the business coming from, and that's where we make sure that we have a strong skill governance council, so to say, which is just not a representation of HR or training, but really have the sales, business operations coming together every quarter and saying, hey, here is where I see the new business coming in, here is where we need to have the talent pipeline, and hence here is where we need those competencies and skills. And really defining those skills and also making sure that we have adjacent skills defined so that we can go back and tell our employees, while these are the primary skills that you would need for the future, here are also the adjacent skills which will probably help you grow in your career. So in terms of making sure that we have a ready pipeline, we do have those categorization of skills in terms of present, future, and maybe 3 years later down the line. We have a visibility there, and plus the entire thing is covered by a strong governance council, which really makes it more practical.
Thank you so much. I know Suchitra has a great example of a case study of tech used. So I'll kind of skip her for this question because I'll get to that particular case study that we spoke about. Nathan, I would like you to be a bit more precise around competencies and how are you measuring those competencies? Do you see, any good systems that you've implemented or seen implemented in the industry which measure domain, psychometric as well as cognitive competencies needed for a particular job? What's your view on that?
So let me look at this. There are 2 points in time, actually 3 points in time when we look at measuring competencies. We look at it at the time when we hire people, and this is something that happens right across. So that's the first time that we do it. That's an extremely important point, and I don't want to belabor this point because it is said that it could cost you up to a year in somebody's salary if you hire somebody wrong. So that's the point of hiring, that you've got to make sure that you get the person with the right kind of skills and competencies. The second one is when the person is on the job. 25% of the people that join suffer infant mortality, which means they die within the first 1 year of the joining. So we've got to do something. So we've got to measure that right. The third one is, how do you make sure that you create your future leaders? And all kinds of assessments. And I'm not looking at these psychometric assessments. We are looking at competency assessments in each one of those areas. And I go back to what Uma mentioned. What is it that the business wants? What is it that the market wants? How do you simplify jobs in a way that you look at the core elements and enhance those skills for tomorrow? We have a project called Firm of the Future, and the Firm of the Future is focused on all these three elements.
Could you speak a bit more on the future competencies, because many a times people don't know where to start. So you might know what competencies lie today in the organization, but since the future is a bit distant, strategies are still getting rolled out. How does a people head or a CHRO look at what's going to be needed in the future and then plan towards it?
So if I just look at, I'm not looking at skills, I'm looking at competencies. I'm going to be looking at curiosity as number one. I'm going to be looking at anybody who has a competency in problem solving, which I think is the second most important thing. The third one is around design thinking and solution orientation. So if you manage to get all four of this, I think we would be in a good spot. I mean, there are several things that you could look at, but the ones which I call as the prime ones are these. Because you're looking at all elements. You're not only looking at what is it that's going to come down the pipe, you're thinking creatively, you're providing a solution and making sure that you're in a position to respond to a client and address it suitably.
Thank you so much. So, some bit from my experience, because I have spent about 2 decades in line of business, not HR, but last 3 years I've been working with HR leadership of various companies to figure out their talent strategy. A good starting point is a learning agility assessment of the entire organization to understand what kind of attitude and what kind of aptitude towards learning is present in the organization. That's something that we've worked with many companies and they've adopted that. Digital readiness is also one area which changes from company to company and geo to geo, industry to industry, but we work very closely with people leaders of many industries to figure out can we kind of author a score for digital readiness for the whole organization. That's something that we work towards. But thank you so much, very nice input. So we'll move away. So we've spoken about current skills, we've spoken about future skills, and how can you think of moving people from one to another? What kind of gaps are there, and how can we design a learning strategy around it? Coming to tech adoption, so a lot of exciting stuff happening. I know Suchitra has just implemented something at PepsiCo. Would love to hear her talk about it, and then maybe I'll ask the other panelists to speak about their experience with adopting tech.
So I'll talk about 2 things actually. One is, when you say what is the future competency. So 2 or 3 years of, few years ago, we realized what I'm bringing to life what both of them have said, business first, right? So we realized our consumers, the way they're looking at advertising, consuming content is not going to be through traditional TV and traditional channels. Like I said, at the edge is all the Netflix, is the Amazon Prime and the Hotstars and YouTube and all of that. That's the growing area where youngsters are consuming content. And we in our company had a completely different vertical called digital marketing. So brand marketing was separate and digital marketing was separate. And I said that's not possible because every person has to think digital because that's where the consumer is or will be. So you can't have 2 separate people thinking of content in 2 different ways. And we started that journey of building digital mindset in our, start with the e-commerce team and the marketing team first to say how do you create content which can transcend from the TV to the digital area. And we worked with Facebook, we partnered with Google, we went to all the industries which were best in class in that. And the results are actually right now, we're seeing it. If you've seen the Pepsi swag anthem, it's got over 4 billion views through various digital platforms and through things like TikTok, which were non-existent. This is the disruption which you have to think ahead, and this has to be embedded in every single person. And now we're saying it's not just the consumers of marketing, it's the consumers of HR. So how do we build that into HR also when we are creating a EVP? Because the same consumers are also consuming HR content in the same way. How do we become digital marketeers of our organization, both within and outside? And to that, I'll come to the second point of what we are doing. We are partnering very closely with a company called Vino. The main thing is continuous listening. So even before an employee joins, there's a chatbot which, Amber, talking to the person saying, how's the interview go? Did you have a good experience? The day the person joins, how did today go? And so it's called moments that matter, right? There are moments that matter in the life journey of an employee. And if you keep capturing that, then you're making decisions almost immediately. Because as an HR, I know, hey, the person's first day is not going well, and 80% of the people's first days are not going well. So I need to change that process completely. Or the first 30 days are not going well, or this person's new manager is not being onboarded well, or the person's team is changing too fast. So how do you use then that continuous listening versus the traditional way of a survey once in a year or once in 6 months to actually generate insights and make quick changes in the way we do things versus wait for that 6 months, 12 months or 18 months to make the changes. And I think that's very exciting, but it's still very nascent, and HR can do so much more in this space. I think we are really, great apps here. I select some of them, Mettl tools. I think we really need to know how to integrate much faster, especially large companies, with the current processes.
Thank you so much.
Can I answer?
Yeah, please.
We looked at this whole life cycle called the employee experience, because we believe that this is the core of anything that happens to an employee, whether this is the first day of work. So the very, very simple things, digitize the whole experience, the whole life cycle, anything from, for example, you want to submit a bill to accounts, you don't have to submit bills. Take a picture on WhatsApp, straight away it goes to accounts, that's it, no questions asked. Same thing, you need approvals, all you have to do is get on, you get one simple thing, says approve, it's over. Make it easy. If you look at things like evaluation of people, you can get evaluation which can happen straight on mobile, because we've started to move towards mobile platforms. You look at the experience when it comes to starting with simple things like submitting bills at one end. How about learning and development? We discovered, for example, in a place like Bombay, you could spend up to 2 hours on a train or a bus. So we said you can use that time very fruitfully looking at your mobile. So how can you have curated learning? So getting learning apps and something which is relevant. So along the continuum, you can do so many things, including bots, whether it is on the first day or right along. I have this query, I don't really have to go and ask 5 different people, but I can really, so using technology to make life easier for people. Life is difficult, particularly organizations are difficult. Larger organizations are even more difficult. So I know what it is. So the easier that we can make it for employees, the better it is for us. And the nicest thing is we got technology on the side.
Kumar, I know, has led many L&D interventions using tech, so final word from you on that.
Technology as a solution works provided there is a problem to address and there is an element of user experience. I'm just building on what Nadil said. This implementing technology or a chatbot for the sake of doing it has not really worked for us. As simple as, I know a specific project or an engagement which has a huge attrition and this guy has a real challenge of retaining his team. He uses the analytics dashboard pretty well as compared to the rest of the organization simply because he has a problem to address there. So very, very simple solutions like getting your engagement scores, attrition scores, your competency, your team's competency, and putting an analytics dashboard in front of him has helped. rather than having a chatbot there to address some of the employees' queries where it goes on and off and finally you get back to the employee and HR on the other side to get your answer. So essentially problem solution, addressing the problem is definitely one of the criteria. The other is what Nathan spoke about, the user experience. And to do that, the best way, I mean this is what we have probably learned over a couple of years, is use design thinking, as Nathan said. Get the users in the center, tell them what their journey should look like, their experience should look like, and craft your solution around that. And those technology solutions really work. As simple as having an app to apply for a leave or book a cab has worked much better than any other large AI applications that we are talking about today.
Thank you so much. So we have one open question on the app, and I'm going to ask the panelists to answer that as well. But if you go to the app and see the question, it's about what do you feel is the biggest obstacle an organization is facing by becoming future ready?
The biggest obstacle I have experienced is getting colleagues who are the Gen Xers who are leading organizations. That has been the biggest obstacle, because I don't think they can feel into the 85% of the millennials who represent organizations today. I would say 77% of the people of organizations at large are millennials and zillennials. So if you don't get to understand them and feel into some of the issues that they experience, I think that's a problem. And organizations therefore need something what I call as reverse mentoring. They've really got to be mentored by people perhaps half their age to let them know what's happening there on the ground. That change, that mind shift change is the one biggest obstacle.
I think for large organizations at least, it becomes very functional silo, and therefore even for being employee-centric, you cannot be a functional silo. So whenever you think of any solution, the legal will stand up and say 5 things why it cannot work. The IT will say no, we need X firewall, Y firewall. Finance will say what is the ROI, etc., etc. So everybody stands up with a voice on the table to say why not. And that's the biggest mindset shift. Why? How can we make it happen? Should be the question versus why not. Everything can be a why not, but the solution, thinking, critical thinking, and solution thinking is very, very important.
Thank you so much.
You said it all. I think it's speed to deployment, speed to adoption. Because there is a business case required, there is a justification, and then there's an integration issue, and then it goes on budgets. But yeah, eventually it all boils down to that, to be honest.
So actually, I think the audience agrees with you. Difficulty in implementation of strategies for future readiness is the biggest issue that people feel. But working with millennials, I have some experience working for Tracker and SAPs of the world. Usually the average age in the organization is touching 40, and when I joined my startup 3 years back, the average age today is 27 and a half. So I thought that I'm in big trouble. But frankly, whatever is written about millennials, I don't agree with anything. My experience has been amazing. If you are able to align their energies to what the organization is trying to achieve, then I don't think you need anything more than just coaching them, because they already are very high on energy. And I have seen that work for us. We've grown at a CAGR of more than 50%, grown the company 5 times in the last 3 years, and it's all been done by guys who are really half my age. So it's been an amazing experience. Thank you. I'll open up the panel to the audience. I'm coming a bit late. I'm sorry for that. If you have any questions, please do ask. We have some giveaways for you, and there are people who ask their questions. Please. So everybody who asks a question will get something.
Great. Hi. So my name is Mercer. I work with a startup called Mettl, Mercer. And my question is to the entire panel. And of course, we hear games being used a lot now for learning and for talent development. I'm just curious to know what are your thoughts? Have you experimented anything? Do you know anything about it? What are your thoughts about games being used?
We have very successfully used gamification in a couple of areas. We've looked at gamification when it comes to induction. And think it's a very nice way of people navigating an organization, getting to know this. That's one. Even as we speak, we are in the process of looking at even performance management, which can be looked at from a gamification standpoint. Our performance management is hugely simple, very, very simple, but still we would like to bring in a sense of gamification. We believe that it's anything which is interactive in a way that gets curiosity in the middle, I think is a good place to start.
For us is very easily gamified, and between teams, of course, we do gamification for any even assess points or bonus points or learning and development, anything. So anything that creates the buzz in the organization as a team against one team against the other, generates standards.
Even some very serious topics like how do you really drive profitability in an engagement? Yeah, what are the various levers that can possibly drive out the profitability or improve your profitability? It's worked pretty well.
Thank you.
So I have a question. I come from a company where we have long tenure people working. So I come from a company background where there are 20 years people working and long tenure, right? So how do you implement learning for them? Because it's difficult to change their mindset.
Difficult.
It's very difficult. So what is the thought process, or what is the strategy, learning and development strategy to follow them to, because change is all across.
So one of the things that we've tried to do, and it has worked successfully, is if you go tell somebody this is what you have to learn, they're not going to learn that. It's impossible. You got to excite their curiosity. So we introduced a program called reverse mentoring. And everybody is now excited because they want to learn something that they can go back and tell their peer that this is something that I know more about. And it could be anybody who is outside of my team. So that started to gather some currency. And I believe that that's the way to go. Excite them. Because there's no other way. And the second most important thing is, we've got to be serious about this. If somebody does not learn, they are no longer relevant. Organizations will suffer then, will suffer.
Yeah, so it's really black and white also for us. It's, first of all, it's what's in it for me. Like, if I don't need to learn and I'm still growing in the organization, I don't need to change, I don't need anything, then we are, we're all talking just and not doing it. But if I need to survive and I need to grow, then I need to learn. Believe me, everybody will be filling up your classrooms or whatever real, the virtual, real, whatever they need to do, they will do. Because it's the survival of the fittest. If you know, if you're the master of the game and nobody is close to you, then don't worry about learning. But if you're not, then somebody else will take your place.
I'm from UDP. Have you ever taken a data-driven decision that went against your intuition? If yes, how did it go?
Have you ever taken a
data-driven decision that went against your intuition? And if yes, how did it go?
How did it go? Ms. Rajendra has a flight to catch. I have a response to you in 3 minutes, but it's a story. Are you willing? Years ago, I wanted a stenographer. I wanted a person who could type. You all know what a stenography is? You know, never mind.
If you're too old, stories will become more relevant.
Okay, so I tell you what. So there was a test given to everybody. People, they had to score so many words and all that. Data showed that so-and-so was on top of the pile. I insisted I beat this person. And he was not somewhere at the top of the pile. He was almost at the bottom of the pile. And he was, unfortunately, short of height as well. And I like this guy. I don't know why. I asked him how much he secured in his class. He said 86% in physics. I was aghast. I didn't know that there was somebody who could be a stenographer, who was a typist, who could take notes at speed, and 86% physics. Fast forward, he had done 25 years in the industry. I brought him on board, and exactly after 7 years, the only condition I had for him was, when you join me, after 18 months, you'll be fired. He was worried, but I meant it in a different way. 7.5 years after he was with me, he left us to join a very large multinational as the general manager of human resources. So fortunately, I didn't go by data. It didn't go against me. It actually went for me. So that's my story I want to say.
So I'm getting all dirty glances from everybody from SHRM. So we need to close the session. Maybe one last question from somebody, please.
Can you share any one of your failing story where you deployed technology and you failed?
So we did a lot of work, maybe it was before time, we did a lot of work on data warehousing and for HR and spent really months and months on it. And every time we would think it's up and running, we would realize the data is outdated, because HR data is live data. And we realized we really have to look at it completely differently for it to work. And now, of course, today everything is live data, so it's a different world. But the time when I was doing it was very.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I can't take any more questions, but a few of the panelists are available. So there's the being who's going to leave very quickly. But I want to thank each one of you for taking up time and being here on the panel. Just a quick summary is one of the few points that stayed with me from this panel. One, I think leaders need reverse mentorship, and I've faced it myself. A lot of youngsters in my company, and I keep going with them to learn new skills and competencies. I think that's one key takeaway for many leaders here. Always learning is something again which came up again and again. I think we need to get that culture of learning across the organization. We cannot not do that anymore. So I think all of us need to keep learning and moving. I think that was the second point. Very nice point that tech needs to solve a problem. So we first need to home on to the problem before we start thinking tech to solve those problems. So instead of being problem focused, we need to be problem focused and be tech focused. And then the last point I think which came out of the survey as well, we need to figure out how do we silence the why nots in the organization and then show them why we need to move. I think that battle we can win, and we've got most of the battles well. Thank you so much once again. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. I am outside